Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Are you good? I'm good, too. So, a while back, I started filming this episode, and it deals with copper poisoning in bromeliads. Now, if you did know, or if you didn't know, now you know, bromeliads are probably some of the easiest plants, like easiest tropical plants to look after in the world, right, in my opinion. And the one thing or two things they really resent or do not like is copper and boron. Now, I like to equate that, the dislike of copper, to vampires and sulfur, okay, or crosses, or holy water, or whatever it is that vampires don't like. Pretty much kills them. So bromeliads do not like copper. They freaking hate copper. From one to the next, their sensitivity is different though. So some bromeliads I find, especially through this study that I did, Neoregelias are a lot more tolerant of copper poisoning than Aechmeas are. Aechmeas just absolutely croak when it comes to copper. I've lost quite a few plants about 2 years ago due to copper poisoning. So this is how. Okay, let's take a look at what copper poisoning does and how to fix it. Okay, now in this video, I'm not going to show you the completed product of a now healthy plant. Because it really does take a good long time, but I will in the future update you on this video, because I have done this before, so it's not my first rodeo with respect to curing plants from copper poisoning. It does just take a while, so if you do have a plant and you really cherish the plant, and as you should with all of your plants, right, this is how to fix a plant that has been poisoned by copper. So let's just first talk about copper poisoning itself. So you may wonder, sort of like, well, where's the plant going to come into contact with copper? How is that going to happen, even? Okay, well, it's really actually a lot more prevalent than you think it is. So copper can be found in fertilizers, right, trace elements, or you can have pesticides, herbicides that contain copper, and if you use any of those things on your plants, they will die. Thankfully, that is not how any of my plants died. They died as a result of this. So trusses, the beams that you would use to build your structures, if they are treated, they are usually impregnated with copper at high pressure to prevent disease. And also just to prevent rot, really, so that the beams don't actually just break down. So essentially that is where your copper is going to come from. So if you've got a leak in your roof and that water drips onto that wood, and that water then subsequently drips down onto the bromeliads, you will have a little bit of problem, okay? Now what I've done is the following. Okay, so today is about, just, what is it, like a week later now after we filmed that. Okay, so roughly sometime last week, I'll put the date up right now, we started the copper poisoning in bromeliads episode. Okay, so I want to show you, it's been about 7 days, or give or take, whatever I've just put up on the screen over here right now. Let's take a look at what's happening. So right there, if I just pull the ring out, you can actually already see that, let's move it into the sun a little bit. I think that'll be better. There you can kind of now begin to see the damage that's starting to take place in this bromeliad. It's beginning to show signs of poisoning. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to move this copper ring and put it in the side, because I think it's going to be very difficult to film in future at what's happening in the center of this plant. So let's put it in one of the urns along this side. over there. Let's put it in there. Okay, so we've got it in there, so we'll be able to actually have a look at the tissue of this bromeliad on that side there. Okay, so 7 days, and you can already see like a sort of a ring along the outside there. See that ring? Sort of right around there. That wasn't there before. So that's tissue damage beginning. Few weeks on, and this is the effect the copper is having. So you can actually see the central part of this plant. I mean, we took it out. I took the copper out, what, like after, it wasn't even a week, hadn't even gone by yet. And I removed it and I stuck it in the side wall of the plant, in one of its rosettes over there. And that is the resultant damage from the copper being in the center of the plant. So guys, copper and bromeliads really don't go together. This is testament to that. So let's just show you. Look at that there. Ow! Jeez, that just poked me. Do you see that? Ooh, sorry. This leaf is virtually gone. That's already starting to die. In fact, the tissue is already dead in some parts. And that is now going to travel down into the base of the plant. You can see it's now spreading to the leaf, the neighboring leaf, and also on that side there, it's gone in. So there's the copper. Okay, we'll give it a few more days and then we will come to the plant's rescue. Okay, right. Past while, what I did was I took a piece of copper pipe. Now, it's not really the way that copper actually presents itself or is absorbed by a plant, because I mean, copper pipe, where's the plant going to find a copper pipe? It usually comes in sort of a liquid soluble type form. So I've got this Neoregelia, which you can see the leaves are dying, or they were in the process of dying right there. This is all new growth, the central piece that you see on the inside between my thumb and my index finger. This is all new growth since the copper poisoning. Okay, so this one is well on its way to recovery. The other one, however, which is an Aechmeas, not so lucky. That is also because the copper is still in here. So basically all I did was I took this Aechmeas fasciata, I dropped a copper ring inside the plant, and you can see the damage, not just on the inside but also just on the entire plant really. You can see it coming out the side there. See the tissue colors changing? That is rot setting in, because this plant is now officially really starting to hurt. And what I'm going to do is, this plant feels threatened right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this open and show you how to fix this problem. Now, the one thing you do need to remember, this particular plant, if it's this far gone, chances are you're going to lose this plant. For the sake of this video, I'm going to hurt this plant really, really badly, and show you how to fix it. But the core of the plant will still survive, and we will bring it back to full health. Okay, maybe, who knows, there might be a pup or something down below that the plant is stressing out, and so it's trying to produce a side shoot to get away from the copper. We'll see what's happening in its pot. Right, so first and foremost, what am I going to do with this plant to get it ready? I'm going to start removing all the lower leaves, right, if there are any dead ones, which that was the only one. Ooh, there's a little pup, so it is stressing. And trying to get away from the copper. You can see that little pup right over there. So that's good. That's a good sign. It means that we'll be able to actually do something really good with this plant. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the unthinkable. I'm going to do the absolute unthinkable, and I will show you what I've done once I've done it. Okay, so give me a sec. Okay, so she's on the operating table. I've taken her out of her pot. There's a little pup coming out. Looks reasonably okay. Scalpel. Here, doctor. Okay. This is what I am going to do. Okay. Yes, I'm sorry, guys. Please don't be mad at me. Okay, I'm not killing the plant. I mean, I'm killing this particular bromeliad, but the plant will recover. And this is basically what you do if you've got a plant with copper poisoning. Okay? And there's a reason why I'm doing this. So I will explain. Okay. So there you have your new plant. And we're going to treat this and make sure that we get rid of any potential copper. Now obviously just remember I used an actual piece of copper. Your copper in the case with wood or dripping or fertilizer or pesticide or any of those things comes in a slightly different form and is able to be, it can be transported around the plant's vascular system, so you don't necessarily, you'll end up with something potentially worse than what I've got here. Okay, right, so let's put that aside, and then this here, we're going to do something else. Give me a second, I need both my hands for this. The one ring to rule them all, and in the darkness bind them. That is a ring of copper. Okay, so if I just pan out, yes guys, I just split the entire bromeliad, so you can see a cross section. So you can see all the damage that has been caused by the copper. In this case, this Aechmea is sensitive, but again, just remember what I said. When you actually, if the copper is not in this form, if it's in a soluble form, it's a lot more dangerous to the plant. Here, it's actually got to sit in the water and then slowly, dissolve and get into the water, and from there it will be absorbed by the plant. But if you look at, you can see all of the tissue is quite damaged. It's not as bad as I have seen it. Now, essentially, I just wanted to show this to you so you know what copper poisoning looks like. So your tissue, you basically have tissue die off like that. So an entire leaf will actually turn this color. And from the outside, I will see if I can find some other examples of copper poisoning. There are some around the nursery. Hey guys, okay, so side note. Solid copper versus soluble copper, absolute massive difference in damage. Really wasn't as bad as what I thought it was going to be, but here are some plants that received soluble copper, and just to show you how bad the damage can actually get. Okay, so yeah, I'm kind of glad. This learning curve for all of us, really. One ring to rule them all, and in the darkness bind them, Lord of the Rings. Yeah, it didn't happen quite the way I expected, which is awesome. So this Aechmea Korea Arujoi has had copper dripping into water dripping into it that contained copper, and literally all of those leaves right in there are dying. Well, the center of this rosette is actually busy dying. That plant's gonna fall over. And yeah, so that's that right there. Let's take a look at another one. I noticed just in time that this Aechmea zebrina, which is one of my favorite plants, has received a little bit of copper, and it's just kind of like on the inside, because of where it's been dripping. It sort of was dripping on these leaves around here, and it's only these leaves that have started to die. The lower part of the plant is still very, very healthy and strong. I noticed it well ahead of time, so this is really good. And this is what this plant looks like. So that is not too bad. You can see a little bit on the center over there. It's not too bad on the inside either. Let's just see. Yeah, not too bad. But that's pretty much it for that one. Let's take a look at a much worse example. This example, you can see the plant has actually suffered a great deal. This is in a gelarium. It's healing now, but it was extremely injured. Here's another one. So this Neoregelia cruenta green form has also received a healthy or unhealthy dose of copper. And you can see how it actually just, the base of the plant just begins to rot. Luckily, again, the center of this urn is fine. So yeah, let's see if we can find some more. There we go. That's another Neo. This is a very young plant. It's also recovered already, but its initial leaves, you can see they just come straight off. So that leaf is healthy, but the leaf above it is not, and so is that one, and so is that one there. See if we can find some more. So here's a very unlucky customer. This one is completely not doing well at all. These leaves are actually just all coming off. So that entire plant is damaged. So how do we fix this, guys? This is how to fix it. So this plant will now die, right? Because I've already destroyed it. Had we not done this, we could have saved it. But now it's up to the plant's offspring, which is right there. And that is going to turn into a new plant. But first, we need to actually care for this plant. What I generally do is, if you're not, where this is not the normal thing, you don't cut it up to kind of get the plant to grow. This is just for the video's purposes. But really what you want to do is, when it's closed and like everything's still good, okay, and it's still attached to its mother, to its base, you're going to take this and you're going to flush it out with fresh water, like flush all the way down into the central urn, all of the cavities, turn the plant upside down, and actually use your garden hose and spray up into the plant so you can wash out every bit of copper that may possibly have gotten in there. In some cases, like very bad cases, you would actually have these central leaves just kind of come out. They'd actually just fall out, and it would come free, and it would just be like this mush on the inside. It would be already rotted away. So in that case, which is a very severe case, you want to rinse it out, get all the dead tissue out. So you're literally going to remove all of the dead tissue. And if need be, you don't really want to go this far, but if you do have to go this far, that's totally fine. Cut the plant off of its base, and then you're going to take this here, we're going to rinse this, and we're going to repot it. So let's just get that water off there. We're going to rinse it and repot it. Okay, and then we're going to put some powdered cinnamon on this open wound over here, so that this little guy can grow up to be big and strong and no longer be affected by the copper. In the case with the Neoregelia, which is this one here, I've taken the copper out and the plant happily recovered. It did show signs of damage, but it recovered quite nicely. All along the side you can still see that there is some damage there. So that is still a result of the copper poisoning right there. So it gets really bad. This is a very mild case, guys, just so you are aware of that. So don't think that copper poisoning is to be taken lightly with bromeliads. It can be devastating, especially if you collect bromeliads, okay, because they cost a lot of money, and especially the rare ones, and just like, the fact that it's hurting, you don't really want that. You want your plants to be healthy so you can enjoy them. Okay, so let's get cracking with the cleansing process. Right, okay, so now I've got my little plant, right? So all we're going to do is just free up the root ball. You can actually see how it was in a previous pot, a smaller 12 centimeter pot, part of my growing process for bromeliads, and it hasn't really taken a hold of this pot because it's been battling the copper the entire time. And so literally all I'm going to do is free up the root ball like good and proper, remove all of, or as much of the stuff, not all of it, as much of the stuff as I can. You don't have to be too gentle. Just make sure not to hurt this little pup. Okay, because that's your saving grace, you see. Do you see? Do you understand, plant lover? Okay, so... Okay, once I feel like that's pretty much most of it that's sort of come out, I now take my little bucket with water, and then I'm going to give it a good rinse. That's should be good. Okay. Now this water, do not feed bromeliads with this water. I'm not saying that anything's going to happen to your plants, but I would rather not do that, since we're trying to save a plant, not get your other plants to feel the same way. Okay. Now, that ideally you'd want to just sit this out of direct sunlight until it dries, okay? Just until it's a little dry, but you don't need to do that. And I'm going to prove it to you because I've done this countless times in my sleep. Okay, so that part of the plant, we leave that because that is really good. That might even produce more pups. Now, initially it was in a 15 centimeter pot. I'm going to upsize the pot slightly. Okay, like that. And then what I've got is bromeliad mix, which I make myself. So this is the bromeliad mix. So all I'm going to do is put it in there, grab my little trusty container, and then dump some in there. Okay, then I am going to, before I do anything with respect to putting it in there, the first thing I want to do is get some general all-purpose kitchen cinnamon, like pancake cinnamon. Yeah, that's it. And then I will dust. You see dust like this all over the plant. And this prevents any infection from setting in. Yeah, so good. Smells like pancakes. Okay, then that I'm just gonna stick in there. Okay, get some more. And then I'm going to hold on to that piece, shake it around until it is in perfect position. You see how lovely that is. And we'll use the last little bit just to, I don't want to cover the core up. I just want to have it sort of almost level with the core, right? And then I'm going to just leave it. I'm not going to water it today. I'm going to allow, because I didn't allow it to dry out, right, for the purposes of the video, I'm going to not give it water right now. Tomorrow, a day later, I will definitely be giving it a good soaking, and then put it into its normal position, and then the plant will begin to move. And that is pretty much it. So that's how to care for a plant that has been affected by copper poisoning. Okay. So that is pretty much it. And if you another look, Tillandsias, which are also bromeliads, if you didn't know, Tillandsias are also affected by copper. So when you use craft wire, make sure that the wire is not copper. Even if it's encased in plastic, do not use it. Use wire that is not copper, okay, because otherwise you're going to end up with the same problem. And with Tillandsias, it can be a bit more tricky because there is no like phytotelma. There isn't a tank or an urn that you can just easily rinse out and be done with it. The plant, the copper will affect the actual tissue of a Tillandsia, which is not really that good. So just be careful of that, okay? But for all of the tank type bromeliads, this is my method, which works beautifully in every single case. And if you like this video, please hit subscribe button. Also subscribe to channel, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.